Spot on. Spot on.
Yeah, I feel like I probably should have let it go because I feel like they were breaking into an Eagles chant, but
Yeah, it's all good now. Yeah, the football season is upon us, almost. Man, it's just amazing how quick it just kind of came right back around, didn't it?
right? Thank God.
Another episode of the Steve Jeltz, the Appreciation Society. We're gonna do a full episode here, just Eagles. We won't touch anything else. This is our Eagles season rundown, and this one actually makes more sense because we are much closer to the start of the year. Now that we've had some preseason games out of the way, we can kind of do more of a rundown through the schedule, kind of give our predictions, our thoughts. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about each week. Nothing too in depth, but just kind of go from there and see how it goes.
Yeah. So what I figure we'll do is first things first. We'll go through the schedule. We will just kind of give our thoughts on the game, give our thoughts on how it'll turn out, and then we'll discuss some sundry items regarding the team, and then finish it off with a where we think they're going to finish. And yeah, so that's where we're at. So without any further ado, let's start with the week one. We start at the New England Patriots at 4:25 p.m. on Tom Brady Day. So
Yeah, it's crazy.
I thought it would only be right that the Eagles sign Nick Foles to the roster as their backup quarterback for week one. Sign him to the I don't know if he's not eligible for the practice squad, but sign him to the team, put him out as a captain, let him take the coin flip on Tom Brady Day just to rub it in their stupid, smug Boston faces.
Yeah, I like that. I do like that. I mean, and Foles is sitting out there, doesn't have a home. It would make the most sense, but obviously we have roster spots to be concerned with.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he fits in their plans right now as a backup QB. Just
No,
a
plus
thought.
you'd have Hurts, throw a ball in the dirt or something, and then somebody be saying, put Nick Foles
Put
in.
him back in. Yeah, it's gonna take us through the season.
Some dumbass fucking
We're gonna go undefeated.
Caller on WIP calling in. Yeah, this is Nick from Downingtown, and I want to see Nick Foles in. I want to see Big Dick Nick.
Oh, dude, that would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard to say like exactly, what kind of game we're going to get out of the Patriots, only because the team is just kind of all over the place. It's just not, to me, there's not a whole lot of consistency. And I don't know that Mac Jones is, I don't know.
Well, I mean, so they've got a good running back in Ramondre Stevenson. You've got Zeke coming in there with a very short preseason because he just signed with the team a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it's real recent.
And then you've got but the one that's going to kill us is Jalen Reagor. They signed Jalen Reagor, so
probably
the best wide receiver in the league. Jalen.
No, you're probably right though. That's what's going to happen.
No, man, I can't. It would have to be a catastrophic failure for the Eagles to lose to the Patriots in week one. That's just the way I see it.
Yeah, I certainly don't. I don't have any faith in this. This has to be a 2-touchdown victory to me, at least. I just don't see much in Mac Jones. Look, I've realized, like you said, they brought in Zeke, and he's a proven commodity. But what's really underneath him these days? And I do like Ramondre, and they've got some weapons out there, but I don't think there's any consistency there that dictates, hey, this is going to be, anything less than an Eagles victory.
Yeah, I mean, look, on any given Sunday, right? That's why they play the game. That's I'll never say that anything is a 100% lock, but honestly, in all honesty, the Eagles should win this game. I'm not going to give a margin of victory, but they should win the game. So
yeah,
I'm going to say we both mark that one down as a win, right?
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win.
All right. So there's that. So week 1 win. Week 2, the home opener on Thursday Night Football. So our first game on Amazon for the year, and it's going to be against the same team that we shit whipped last year in the second game of the season. The same team that we shit whipped in the NFC Championship in Philly on the way to winning the Super Bowl. The Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. What time? What time of day is that game again?
And it's a night game which I believe people colloquially call prime time.
Yeah, and who doesn't perform well in prime time?
I
Is it their
can't
quarterback?
remember, but I think it might be Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
and his new little mustache that he's got.
We've talked about that before with how really poor he plays in primetime games. It's just not good. This is a 2-0 out of the gates. I
Yeah.
don't even know where else to go with that.
Right. There's really, I mean, look, again, good team. It's got Justin Jefferson.
They get the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, best
Let's
wide receiver in the
not
league.
kid ourselves, and let's also not kid ourselves that look, you take Kirk Cousins out of prime time. Kirk Cousins is a solid quarterback.
Yeah, he's
I
pretty
mean,
all right.
and really he's because the weapons he has around him or has had around him over the years. You know, he can, number wise look like a solid quarterback.
Right.
But yeah, doesn't matter. Primetime game, he's gonna choke, and Justin Jefferson can't save this one.
And no more Dalvin Cook either. So
Yeah, that's rough.
You've got Madison as their quarterback or their running back. You've got TJ Hawkinson just signed a huge new deal. Probably overpaid a little bit. Like a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Yeah, I just don't see that team stacking up with us.
Yeah, I don't either. Yeah, and real quick, I just figured I'd throw that out there. His extension was 4 years, 66 mil, which included an $18 million signing bonus and nearly 30 million fully guaranteed at signing.
That is a lot of money for TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
Now don't get me wrong, good tight end, but I don't think he's in the top 3.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, I agree. I think he's a top
Travis
5. I don't think he's a top 3.
Right. He's not Travis Kelce. He's not George Kittle. He's not Dallas Goedert. He's not Mark Andrews. I think those 4 are your top 4.
I think you go Kelce and Andrews to me are always 1, 2. And then Kittle, I think, is still ahead of Hawkinson. I think Hawkinson slides in at maybe a 4 or 5. But I also like a lot, dude. I like our tight end a lot too.
Right.
I think he slides up there, and don't forget Kyle Pitts. You got other weapons out there that are very capable. And like I said, Hawkinson top 5. I don't see him in top 3 either.
Right. All right. So now the only thing that's really bugging me about that game, and it's the same for both teams. Both teams are coming in. It's going to be a short week. I hate Thursday games. Absolutely can't stand them. So that sucks. But then they get the turnaround of week 3, another primetime game. Week 3 at Tampa Bay on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, and Tampa Bay no longer has Mr. 1 Tom Brady, so this makes it even more interesting.
Yeah, so they're dealing with a lot of injuries too. You got a lot of players banged up already, and the season hasn't even started. And then you've got Baker Mayfield under center.
Yeah.
So the great unknown of what Baker are you going to get? You're going to get a good Baker or bad Baker? There's been a lot more bad Baker than there has been good Baker.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens. But honestly, it's hard for me to come out here and say that the Eagles will lose to Tampa.
Yeah, I'm with you. This is a 3-0 out of the gate for me. Right. It's just I don't know. I really don't see it any other way outside of something catastrophic happening in each of these first 3 weeks.
Right. And then we get what I think, and I don't think this is going to be a challenge based on necessarily skill level, because I don't think their roster stacks up to ours. But in week 4, we get the Washington Commanders at home. It's a 1:00 game. For some reason, I mean, it's a division game. They always play us hard, you know, when
Mhm.
no matter how bad they are. Think about it. Last year, they were the ones that knocked us out from being undefeated.
Right, right.
So Washington always figures out a way to play hard against us. I don't think it's gonna be any different this year. I don't think we're losing at home to Washington.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. I don't know. I think this is a close game, but being a home game, I that's kind of what I thought too. 4-0.
It is
I am curious to see though what Washington's offense looks like this year. You still have a lot of weapons there with Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson. You got some really really good weapons that they've you know I really like those guys a lot.
yeah.
Um, and to be curious to see how this all works out. Who's under center this year for them? Is it
Sam Howell.
Sam Howell? That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
Sam Howell's gonna get the start. We'll see, man. It's gonna be interesting to see because I think this is a make or break year for Ron Rivera. You've got new ownership, you've got a lot of things in flux in that organization. And if he doesn't put it together this year, I could see them moving on from him.
Yeah,
And obviously if they move on from him, Howell might not get another shot in Washington, you know.
yeah.
So
That's a fair assessment. Week 5 goes. They go to LA. They play the Rams, and look, the Rams won the Super Bowl, and then they completely imploded last year, and a lot of it was based off of it really looked like they just bought it the year prior.
right.
They lost a lot of talent. Stafford took a big step backwards, and I think there's going to be some more progression back toward the middle for them. I don't think the Rams are going to be as bad,
Right.
but I don't think that they're playoff caliber team. And
No.
even in an away game, I think this is a 5-0.
Now see, and this is where I'm tempted to say 5-0, but going across the country, typically the away team doesn't have the best luck. Now we've seen though the Eagles go in and just completely own the Rams and completely own SoFi Stadium for that matter. And so I was tempted to say that this was going to be their first loss, but it's on my birthday. So
Yeah,
no,
you can't say that.
they're not going to lose on my birthday.
If they were playing any other team, um, and I hate to say this because look, you still have some pretty strong talent on that team, but they just did not look good at all last year, and
No.
I just don't see any marked improvement this year.
And that's the thing too. That there was a lot of dysfunction with that team last year. You had the Cam Akers situation where we sent him home, and then he's back with the team. They thought he was going to get traded, and then he didn't, and then he's hanging around the team, and now he's back on the team. You fired or no, they didn't fire McVay, did they?
Let's look at that real quick. We're going to contact the Google machine.
Because I think I might be mixing McVay up.
No, it's still Sean McVay.
Okay, so I was confusing him with Cliff Kingsbury.
Okay, yeah.
All right. So McVay's still there. You've still got the offensive mind together. The team has sold off some parts, though. They are running short on some parts. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see how they progress, or you can't really regress. I mean, unless they
you can't. I mean, I guess it could get worse, but I don't know. I don't.
I think their injury issues will get settled this year. Hopefully for them. Hopefully for anybody that drafted Cooper Kupp,
Yeah, no kidding.
their injury issues are behind them. But that brings us to week 6.
Yeah. So week 6, they're in New York or in North Jersey against the Jets, and I don't know. What do you think?
Coming back across the country, playing against the New York Jets in New Jersey. Let's stop. Why are we even calling them the New York Jets? The New Jersey Jets.
Because the state pays for or whatever the old thing was. They pay for the rights to, whatever.
Yeah. They're the New Jersey Jets. Not that I'm going to root for them anyway, but anyway, point of it is they've got what should be a vastly improved offense. They've got Robert Saleh in the second year of his coaching tenure there. They've got new weapons on offense and defense, and they've got psychoactive plant.
Yeah.
So again, if this wasn't a situation where they were coming back across the country, maybe I think about this one differently. But I actually am going to put this one down as the Eagles' first loss of the season.
Okay, so I'm going to go with what you said on the last week. I was tempted for myself to put this down as the first loss, but I think we're going to see bad Aaron Rodgers all season.
Oh, I
hope so. I think he's going to get worse than what he was last year, and this is going to be typical Jets fashion where they finally built like a strong caliber team and they brought in the worst possible person to be quarterback. I think this is going to blow up in their faces. I really do. I know they've got Garrett Wilson, and I know they've got some awesome players, and this is not a slight against them. I just think they brought the worst person in to lead this team.
You know what? I couldn't agree more with your sentiment. I don't know, man. Something tells me this game is going to be like kind of like a trap game for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part for me on where we're at. I say 6-0 only because I think that's what I feel, but I certainly believe that there could be a spot here where at one point or the other they could be 5-1 based off of just something.
And that's
in the first 6 weeks.
That's the thing too. Like, my gut. It's similar to last year. Last year, before the season started, when we ran through this whole thing, I said, you know what? I don't see a game on this schedule that is unwinnable. And I said I could foresee if they went undefeated, I would be surprised, but it wouldn't surprise me. You know, it wouldn't be like so far out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
Because they're still a good team. But they're gonna eventually lose games.
Of course, yeah. This whole undefeated thing is a near impossibility.
Right. I mean, last year they got damn close.
Yes, they did.
But all right, so let's move on. That was week 6. Week 7, the Miami Dolphins come to Philly for another primetime game.
You know, I like Miami a lot. Love the offensive weapons they have. My question, I think, for them is Tua going to be healthy enough to maintain the season?
Exactly, and that's my question with them too. And that's why there was a thing on Bleacher Report, and people were asking, all right, this is how they ESPN or whoever ranked the top 5 quarterback wide receiver trios, and they had Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill ahead of Hurts, Devontae Smith, and AJ Brown, and they had Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson and whoever, because it doesn't matter,
right?
The other one is, and everything, and I said, well, I would put the Eagles ahead of Tua and his receivers, and my reason being because you don't know what the health situation is going to be with Tua. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that Tua makes it through another full year. Not to say his career will be over, but last year he should not have finished the season. After that second concussion, he should have been shut down. And I understand it's a business, and you've got a business to run, and your business is not going to be as successful without him in it. But let's think long term. Is your business going to be more successful if he goes out, gets a concussion week 1 this year, and has to retire? Or is it going to be better if he's allowed to rest, his brain is given time to properly heal, and then he can actually play the full season this year?
Yeah. No, last season was scary. We've talked about that before on previous podcasts about, what's his long-term career actually look like, because after last season, it didn't look like he was going to be in the league for more than another season or two.
Right.
He's 1 or 2 bad hits away from it being a problem as far as ending that career. But let's just say, I'm going to go both sides here. So let's say he's healthy. Let's say he's strong. If he's healthy and strong, I firmly believe the Dolphins could come in and win. I do. I make no bones about that. But the other side of it, though, is the health thing. And what happens if he goes down?
Right.
Who they going to throw under there?
Jay Fiedler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, who's going to be capable of really running that offense? Is that when Tom Brady comes out of retirement?
Hey, I mean, he'd have to sell his stake in the Raiders first, but
It's funny. I don't know. I'm
Josh
gonna go
Rosen.
7. I'm gonna go 7-0. I
Yeah.
really am.
All
I'm
right.
gonna go 7-0.
I mean,
I'm sticking with it.
I'm definitely saying the Eagles win that game because even if Tua is there and operating it at full capacity, Jalen Hurts hates to lose, and he likes to win. He loves to win, but what's more important is that he hates to lose. He
Right.
ain't going to lose 2 games in a row, and especially against Tua, who's the guy that took his job in college.
Exactly.
There's no fucking way they lose.
Yep.
Is it conceivable if Jalen Hurts is not playing that game? Is it conceivable they lose?
Oh well.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Is it possible that they beat the Jets and then they lose that game? Yes, 100%. But I will not bet on the Eagles to lose 2 games in a row this entire season. It's not fucking happening. All right. Week 8 at the Washington Commanders. So we're done with the Commanders before the end of October. We play both of our games against them in October.
So this is where it's gonna suck. This is where I'm gonna say it's 7-1, and only because I think this is the away game. I kind of wavered a little bit in my head about the Commanders at home. I really don't think they come out of this one. I think they split the season series, and I think this is a loss. I just do. This is my first loss. I'm going to mark them 7-1 here.
And I agree with you, and that's where I'm going. It's going to be the second loss that I have them with. Again, you know what? And it's only because they seem to every year they get us once.
Yeah. It's just that they're a strong team. I've got a lot of respect for Ron Rivera as a hell of a coach. I just don't know. I don't know enough about Sam Howell and how that's all going to run yet.
Yeah.
But I do think that if the Eagles come out and win the game at home, it'll be close, and Washington's going to figure it out for their home game, and again, close game. But I think Washington will pull that one out.
And now we get into the murderer's row part of the schedule. So the Eagles really need to fatten up on the early part of the schedule because now we hit week 9, Dallas on Fox's Game of the Week at 4:25.
Yeah.
And I'm calling a win.
I am too. Home game, right? I mean,
no, it's in Dallas.
Really? I thought that was a home
calling
game.
a win.
Wow.
I'm going to say right now, before we even get to the next Dallas game, season sweep of Dallas.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, cool. I'm thinking that same sentiment too, just because I have absolutely no idea what Dallas is going to look like this year. But I'm really close game.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say, oh yeah, it's going to be a blowout, whatever. I can waver on this one, 50-50, but I'll say 8-1 at this point in the season after the first 9 weeks.
And that's going into the bye at 8-1.
So when we exit the bye, though, here's where it becomes a real problem. Super Bowl rematch against Kansas City, and I believe this is in Kansas City, correct?
It is in Kansas City. It is an 8:15 game. Monday night.
I hate to see this one or even say this, but I don't know that this is going to be a great rematch.
Yeah, I think you know what? I'm calling it. We win.
Okay.
I'm calling a win. Where are you going?
I'm going to go 8-2. I'm going to say a loss. I think it's going to be a high-powered, high-scoring game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say it's within a score, and that's what's going to suck.
Yeah.
Because it'll be a repeat of basically what just happened a few months ago.
So now, after that, we come back home for. Oh no! You know what? I'm sorry. The Eagles game, week 9, is in Philly.
Okay, I thought so. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I
So
was making sure I wasn't
in-
crazy. I was like, wait a minute.
no, you're right. You were right. So now week 12, we're at home.
This is where I
And
think they absolutely throttle Buffalo. I don't know why I feel this way, but I think they get so mad from losing against Kansas City that they stomp them.
see, now this is where I'm going to say they pick up their third loss.
Okay.
And it's either going to be they destroy them or they're going to lose. And I'm not going to say badly because this team doesn't lose badly, but they're going to lose the game because week 13, San Francisco comes to town.
Mm,
And I think that some of the guys, I don't want to say they're overlooking the Bills because I like to think that Sirianni's got them where they're not gonna overlook any teams. They're gonna
mhm.
play the opponent that's in front of them. But after the Buffalo game, you've got San Francisco and then you've got Dallas again.
Right.
And I can't. I don't know, man. I think the Buffaloes sneak one on them. All right, the Buffaloes. I think Buffalo sneaks one on them. And then I think they take out San Francisco and Dallas.
That's fair. So I think they throttle the Bills. I really do. I have some weird feeling. I don't know why. Maybe Josh Allen doesn't start. I don't know.
Okay.
I just really have a feeling like a 44-17 type feeling.
I like it.
I don't know why. I just do. I think San Francisco is going to be a pain, and this is where it's going to suck. Even though you're coming into Philly, I think that's going to be a problem. I think they want. I really do. I think they want to exact revenge, and they're going to figure out any which way possible. Dirty play. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel
Oh,
good
yeah.
about that game. So I'm going to drop them to 9-3 on that one. But I also believe that I feel the same way. Even though they're 50-50 games for me, the Dallas games, I think that's a win. And I agree with you. I think they sweep the season series, and they're 10-3 after that point in the season.
So actually, at this point, we have them at the same record going into
Yeah,
week 16 or week
just
15.
just different losses. I mean,
Right.
but I think it's hard to gauge exactly when that's gonna happen. But I think
Right.
you know,
And here's the thing, man. The San Francisco game, because we kind of glossed over it a little bit just because I'm so fucking fired up. Fuck San Francisco. Those whiny bitches.
oh, I know.
Now here's the thing. I can't say too much because our fans are still bitching about the field
Right.
at the Super Bowl. It's done, man. It's over. I don't want to hear shit about it. Just like I'm tired of hearing these little bitches from San Francisco complain because they had a fucking third string tight end blocking the best pass rusher on the team. That's your fucking fault. That's game planning. You not having enough quarterbacks on your roster for the playoffs. That's game planning. That's on your coaches. Don't get pissed off at us because little baby Brock got his little peanut brittle elbow broken.
Yeah, well, no, and you're running out there with Josh Johnson, who's been on his 53rd team
Right.
in 55 years. I mean, the guy's been in the league forever. And then it's like, oh, yeah, well, now we've got to put Christian McCaffrey out there as our quarterback.
Well, whose
Yeah,
fucking fault is that?
yeah, exactly. There's just no one there. And look, injuries happen. And look, and I've said this before, even with a true starter, they would have gotten killed in that game anyway.
Right. It didn't
The Eagles
matter.
were just on top of the world in that one. And
Hey, listen, what happened when we played Seattle in the playoffs? And I've said this before too. What happened when we played Seattle in the playoffs? Carson Wentz goes in, gets hit by a legitimately dirty hit by Jadeveon Clowney,
mhm,
gets knocked out of the game with a concussion. And then Josh McCown, Methuselah himself, goes out there and tears both of his groins or whatever he tore. He tore something. Maybe it was his quad or his hand. I don't know. He tore something, and he was about as mobile as a statue.
right.
And we lose the game by what, 3 points,
Yeah,
right?
yes.
Something like that. It was a small margin where we lost that game. You know what happened after that game? Did our players start throwing a fit and complaining and protesting and whatever the hell else? No. You know what? Because we're not bitches. Our fans didn't go, oh, change the rules and this and that. And
Oh, yeah.
no,
Oh,
we sucked it up because we lost and
yeah,
we can deal with it.
yeah.
Get the fuck over it. And to our fans who are still talking shit about the Super Bowl because of the pass interference and because of the field, get over it. We lost. It's
Yeah,
done. It's in the
over.
past.
It's time for 23. Let's
It
just
sucked, but it's done. All right.
exactly.
Now,
So we're both at 10-3, and we're at this point. We got to think we're mid-December, and the Eagles will go from Dallas to Seattle. Speaking of the Seahawks,
yeah. And if they're smart, they'll go straight from Dallas to Seattle.
yeah, I would hope so. It's a 1 week turnaround. They play December 17th. I don't know. Look, Geno Smith showed some really nice growth last year. I think he's developed into a nice, good, solid mid range quarterback in the NFL, which is good to see. It's
Yeah.
always nice to see talent develop. Now, where he goes from there, I don't know. I think you do see some regression from both Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, personally. So I think you're going to see someone step up from there. They lost Rashad Penny to us. So I don't know. I don't know what this is really going to look like. Seattle always fights hard, though.
Right.
I don't like Pete Carroll. No, I don't think anyone really does.
Fuck Pete Carroll.
But it's a win to me.
Yeah, yeah. To me, that's a win. I don't even question it. Then we get our first. We come back to Philly, and our first of 2 out of 3 weeks playing the Giants.
Which is weird. What a weird way to do this. We've talked about this before too, because we did like an early preview of this, and it's strange, right? I mean,
Right.
first time they play the Giants, and it's not until what is it, Christmas Eve?
Yeah. No, it's Christmas. Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. Yeah, Christmas Day. It's crazy.
Yeah. But that said, we still beat the shit out of them.
Yeah, I have nothing for Daniel Jones. I don't know what you're going to get out of that team this year. In fact, I just quickly pulled up. I was more curious about what other sites were saying, just out of sheer curiosity. I think this is even overblown. Like a couple projections saying the Giants will be like 8-9. I don't see them winning 8 games at all.
I could see him going 8-9, but I could also see him going, I don't know. I think they could be a decent team this year. They're not going to win the East.
I think they're a 6 or a 7 at best. I think 8 is just a little bit of a stretch, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
I mean, I'll have to look at their schedule, but I could see them making the playoffs again. But I mean, just based on the fact that I feel like they'll improve from last year, I don't see any reason for them to regress.
Right.
But I don't know. I haven't looked at their schedule, so I couldn't tell you, I think they'll win this, this, and this, or lose or whatever.
Yeah, that's certainly fair. Okay. Do we even need to talk about the New Year's Eve game?
Yes, we do. Yes, yes, we fucking do.
I was kidding. I did not.
Okay, I thought. Okay, you had me concerned for a second. I cannot wait for New Year's Eve. Now, here's the thing: if I'm still at my current job, I've got to work Christmas and I've got to work New Year's Eve. I'm going to be awake for both games. I don't give a fuck. And here's why I'm going to wake up for the New Year's Eve game. And it's this. Fuck Jonathan Gannon.
Who's that guy?
That stupid piece of shit, slimy little fucking rat bastard. I hope that I don't hope. He is going to be one and done after this season. And he doesn't even see the writing on the wall.
Was he like a coordinator or something for us at one time?
He was a piece of shit that dragged us down in the Super Bowl.
Did he sell like sodas in the stands, and they just like, oh yeah, let's just put him on the field as a coordinator? Is that what happened to him?
Jonathan Gannon could have been a fucking legend in Philly. He's the one that came out and said, we're gonna gut the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship game. And then he goes out and proves his lack of integrity and his lack of fucking sack by going into the fucking Super Bowl, not concentrating on his team and on what he needs to do because he thinks that he's got this fucking, first of all, gets tampered with and actually allows it to fucking happen. Then lets that draw his attention away from the Super Bowl, which is the most important fucking game of your fucking career, you goddamn piece of shit. And then doesn't make any adjustments at halftime. We lose the fucking game.
Yeah, he had that job before the Super Bowl even happened, and it's disgusting. And the Eagles are going to absolutely slaughter them. I don't even know what the Cardinals have at this point. I really don't. I don't know that. I'm going to quickly go back real quick to the one site that I have. It's actually sportsnot.com that showed that the Giants would be 8-9. They actually pegged the Cardinals at 3-14.
And that's a very optimistic outlook for them.
I think. Look, I think it's a near impossibility to go undefeated. It's also a near impossibility to go the other route. You at least get lucky once. This could potentially be though that 1 or 2 win team,
right?
And this is going to be like Tecmo Super Bowl stats for the Eagles. It's going to be ridiculous, and you're going to have the peanut vendor getting a couple 100 yards rushing. It's going to be crazy.
Well, and what I saw was a telling thing. So they went and got Gannon, right? They have Houston's number 1 pick this year. Houston's first round pick this year. They have their own first round pick this year. If they finish horribly, they've got a shot at the best quarterback in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If Houston is as bad as they historically have been, they have a shot at Marvin Harrison Jr. So right then and there, you've rebooted your franchise. You've got the best quarterback in the draft. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr., the best wide receiver in the draft.
Who I will be saying right now, as long as I play fantasy football, you better well believe that I will be drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. every chance I get.
So all right,
years for that.
I think it's safe to say we both think that they win against the Cardinals, and then the Giants game. Hopefully, at this point, doesn't matter. I'm putting it down as a win.
Yeah,
I don't even know what day or time it's going to be played.
Yeah, that's what sucks. Is like I think because you're probably going to be in the playoffs. I guess it depends upon where you fall with where you're at in the playoffs, like your home field advantage or whatever it is, what your ranking's going to be. Because but they're not going to start anybody,
right?
So I'll put a win too. So right. 14-3 is what I have.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, and I think it could be anywhere from. God, I don't even want to jinx them, but I think that they could make it through the year, conceivably losing 1 to 2 games. I think that they could lose a max of 5 games, but I'm going to say 14-3. I'm going to say no worse than 12-5.
So, okay, good. It's and this is what I want to throw. So the same website in registering, sportsnaut.com, and I'll give a little plug. Sports, and it's naut.com. And I'll just run the division real quick, just so like I wanted to have something as like that we could reference, like what you and I guess basically. They have the Eagles at 12-5.
Okay.
They also have Dallas at 12-5. I already mentioned the Giants at 8-9. They have Commanders at 7-10. So that's a tough division.
Yeah.
You have a lot of middling teams there. Or not lying too, but it's tough. And if you go over, there's another website I'll reference here. It's theanalyst.com. And theirs is more interesting the way it's more analytic the way they do it. But they predicted the Eagles, if you round up to 12 wins, so also 12-5. But of every single team in the league, including the Chiefs, the Eagles, according to them, have the highest chance of making the playoffs at 95.1%. The next highest looks like the Bills at 88.9, even higher than the Chiefs. And then just out of curiosity, looking down their list, they show the Titans to be their worst team. I don't know where that comes from, but that's what those sites show. So I think we're not too far off base here.
Yeah.
So
now the big thing, what I'm concerned about and what I need to see from the Eagles is, can we get a fucking can we get a punter, please, for the love of God?
Yeah, so we need to touch on that real quick. The Eagles have released Mr. One Australian guy, Sipas,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
So who is punting these days for the Eagles?
So we don't have a punter. He's on the practice squad. Sipos is on the practice squad. We did try out 3 punters. Hopefully we sign one of them that's not Sipos, because I don't ever want to see him in Philly again. He needs to get the fuck out. I don't ever need to see his ass again after that 35-yard punt. I still don't understand, and this is going to be the pain point for the Eagles this year too. I don't understand how their fucking special teams coordinator is still employed. He should be. You want to talk about the popcorn boy? He should be in the stands watching like the rest of us. He is just. They've not improved at all since Sirianni's first year. If anything, they've gotten worse.
Sean Landetta's, by the way, still alive, and he's available.
I'd say we get him.
61 years old, and I'm sure he could probably do a better job than Sipas.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't know who's out there and available.
Michael Clay is the special teams coordinator. And dude, honestly, if they haven't improved by week 4 or 5, they got to fire him. Because their special teams has been atrocious.
Yeah,
that's
been a weak spot. And I don't know. I'm hoping anyone's got to be better than Sipas, right? I mean, come on.
Right. But I mean, it's not just their punter. Their return game has been terrible. Their coverage, their punt and kick coverage has been terrible. And they're going to take a step back because they lost what's his name? They lost Sean Bradley to injury for the season. They lost what's his name? The cornerback. Zach McPherson.
Mm-hmm.
They lost him for the season. And those guys were standout special teams players. So, and hell, we don't know who the kick returner is going to be because we released Covey and we released Devin Allen.
So before we wrap up here, I was curious. We usually don't talk about playoff projections here because it's just not where we like to think we could. Like, oh yeah, they're gonna. Of course, we want to win the Super Bowl. So that's kind of why we don't do that because we realize we're going to get in, but we don't want to get that far down the road.
Right.
I am curious though. Are you excited about any particular players that are new to the team, rookies, or veterans, or just maybe excitement about maybe a player that was already on the Eagles that you think they're going to have maybe a better year than they had last year?
So I'll give you a couple players. Obviously, I'm not going to say I would say Jalen Carter, but everybody's excited to see Jalen Carter. What I want to see, what I'm excited about, is the running back room, to see how the running back room plays out. Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to replicate or improve upon last year. So, obviously everybody's excited. There's certain players that everyone is excited about.
Right.
But the running back room, I want to see DeAndre Swift. I'd like to see him stay healthy for the whole season.
Agree.
Philly guy, I think he'll be outstanding if he can stay healthy. And I think that if they kind of make him the main back, that'll work out well. I'm excited to see the young defensive backs play. Eli Ricks, Reed Blankenship, can he take the next step?
Mm-hmm.
Because he looks outstanding. He looked outstanding all through training camp and through preseason. See what he can do. Sidney Brown. Is Sidney Brown going to take over as the other safety, starting opposite Reed Blankenship? Or is it going to be Terrell Edmonds or Justin Evans? Eli Ricks, who I already mentioned. Let's see what our rookies can do, man. Jalen Carter. Let's see what season 2 of Jordan Davis brings.
Jordan Davis. Yep.
Let's see what Nolan Smith brings to the table, because
I'm excited about him too. I really am.
Nakobe Dean getting his starting. Those Georgia guys, man. I'm super stoked about the Georgia guys. Let's see what this team does.
Yeah, we've talked about that, man. It's like Georgia North at this point. Yeah. It's great, and these guys have all played together. We didn't even mention Keely.
Yeah, Keely Ringo. Well, I don't
have a lot, but I mean, he's another Georgia guy, So.
Right. But I just don't see him playing a lot this year. I think
I don't either.
He's going to be a 2 to 3 year project for them.
Yeah, he'll definitely see some time, but I don't think it's going to be a lot either.
Oh,
But
you know what? We got to talk about too.
the Eagles signing a punter. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm sorry. Continue what you were saying, and then we'll talk about my.
Oh yeah, no. I'm just I know he won't get a lot of time either, but I'm excited because of the whole continuity, and you have that brotherhood of the Georgia guys, and so I just think I think that's a good thing, regardless of the amount of playing time you get moving forward. So he may end up, having to, be thrust into a more role just based off whatever at some point in the season, So, and I think having that familiarity with other guys is going to help no matter what.
Right. And then on top of that, I'm excited to see what Sean Desai does as the defensive coordinator after we moved on from Jonathan Douchebag, and see what what he brings to the table, because maybe he'll be a little bit less reserved in his blitzing and stuff, and we'll see. We came damn close to setting the record for sacks last year. Let's see what happens when we have a defensive coordinator that actually believes in the blitz. So, but I want to get your opinion on something. And this is something we talked about. It's a real deep cut throwback. So it came out the other day through Jason Kelsey that Darius Slay is a flat earther.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess he was talking. So one of the coaches was walking through while they were doing warm-ups or whatever, and he walked by Kelsey and he goes, "Hey man, how many guys do you think out here believe that flat earth conspiracy thing?" And he goes, "Oh, you have no idea." Because there's a lot of them. And the coordinator was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah. Slay was just telling me about it last year, how the earth is flat and everything." I'm like, "Come on,
This can't
man."
be real. You got to be pulling my leg.
No, I swear to God. Swear to God.
Hold on. I gotta look this up
Yeah,
now.
look it up. It's a real thing.
I feel like I'm gonna search this and it's gonna be like a rickroll.
No, it's real.
Oh my god! It actually has been around for a long time too. He said it for years.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe that it's real, but it's real. So
Why?
I don't know, dude.
I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I
But
just, I that's my only. I don't know. Look, I know there's a lot of like crazy things that we can have some discourse on, but come on.
yeah. So on that note, I'm glad that he is good at, playing defense. And
But we do have to wrap up this episode with the one last statement though.
oh yeah, fuck Dallas.